episode of Mystic Journeys, your host HB. We got Derek and Nerdy here, and happy Thanksgiving. It's in the Thanksgiving episode. We're going live today on Thanksgiving for the first time, so it's going to be a really nice episode. We have some, actually, let me pull up my widescreen here. Our today's topics, we're going to go to the way back. We're going to start in the way back. It's going to be our first episode of the way back Wednesday. I'm going to read the first episode, the first chapter. It's going to be the first week is the Allegory of the Cave. We're going to talk about the Allegory of the Cave and what we kind of each think about it. And then we're going to do a giveaway. Actually, I'm going to do a giveaway. Nerdy's going to dive a little bit deeper into the Allegory of the Cave. Then Nerdy's going to do a giveaway. It's called What's in Nerdy's Can. You guys are going to like this. Stay tuned. Nerdy's got a can. We're going to try to see if you can guess what's in it. And then we're going to let Derek speak about some insights, and actually has a couple things that you might want to do a giveaway as well. And we're going to do some questions and answers for you guys. And we're glad to have you. It's been you guys' support has been really awesome. It's going to be a great episode. Glad to have you guys. Actually, you want to go ahead and get started with the reading? So you want to do this? Okay. This is a way back, volume 1. There's actually a volume 2. We'll get into that later time. But this is the volume 1 of the way back. The author's name is Patty Bryant. This is starting at the very front of the book of week 1, the Allegory of the Cave. The Allegory of the Cave, it starts off with a quote from Albert Einstein. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. It's one thing I always say, nothing changes, nothing changes. To get into the first week of the Allegory of the Cave, the Allegory of the Cave was a dialogue written by the Greek philosopher Plato. It begins with a group of prisoners in a dark cave dimly lit by fire. These prisoners are chained to a wall and have never seen the world outside of their cave. They can see shadows on the wall by the light of the fire, but they've never seen the actual objects making the shadows. All they know are the shadows themselves. So if they see a shadow of a book, they might say, oh, there's a book. But really, it was a shadow of a book, not the book itself. It's a bit like knowing the word strawberry means a small red fruit, but never have actually tasted a strawberry. You touched on this on our first episode, actually. Then she's going to actually speak about her experiences here. So this is from her words. The allegory reminds me of how often we don't know what we don't know. For so long, I have traveled outside of my home state of Tennessee. For so long, I have never traveled outside the home state of my Tennessee, so my perspective was very limited. Then, when I traveled to Denver, I was shocked to see folks eating fruit and hummus and at outdoor events rather than fried chicken and potato salad, which was much more common where I grew up. And I had heard of the Rocky Mountains, but we had the Smoky Mountains in the Tennessee. And at the time, I thought, weren't all mountains the same? And it turns out that they aren't. What else don't I know? Well, I don't know. With each experience, our perspective gets a little broader, the color fills in a little bit more. How can we free ourselves from only knowing something by the shadows instead of the actual thing itself? Experience. Step your toe in the water. Do something new. This goes for people too. If you have an other, maybe it's time to learn a little thing about them instead of knowing a thing about them. Through the shadows. Unlike the prisoners in Plato's allegory, we have the key to free ourselves and experience life in color. Take a step today to experience life in real full color. Experience. I think that's a really good thing to highlight back on. Experience. That's how how can we free ourselves from only knowing something by the shadows instead of the actual thing itself? Experience. You very much touched on this in the first episode. The smoky mirror, the smoke in between the mirror. It's very much the same similar concept. It's very beautiful. What is something you may only be experiencing through a shadow? I guess I'll answer that first. What's something that I experience through a shadow? This is what we love to talk about. Spirituality for me is that thing that I see through a forest. Is almost like looking at a flame through a forest. That's what spirituality is for me. It's that smoke in between. I know it's there, but it doesn't speak loud enough to me, and it's not warm enough for me and bright enough for me sometimes. So that's definitely something for me in my life. And I get closer and closer to that light, I feel, all the time. The more I have these conversations and the more I read these experiences where she talks about how she came from Tennessee and she moved to Denver, and it was a totally different vibe and different landscape. And I experienced that as well. I'm from a small town in the south of South Carolina, and when I went to Colorado, I was like, wow, these are my people. I've never seen so many people in April wearing beanies in my life. I was like, wow, these are my people. This is pretty cool. It's very eye opening. Shows you that not everywhere is the same and not everyone is the same. We're all living our own dream. Very beautiful. You got anything you want to add to that, Nerdy?
Well, I'll be adding a lot more in a moment, but let's see what Derek has to think about that. What is something that you may only be experiencing through a shadow? And I'll explain mine in a little bit because I have a lot to say.
Okay.
I think, you know, we all have different experiences, and our experience with something it could be completely different. Like, say, you know, your interaction with another person might be positive for you or negative for you, but, you know, they're going through something or you're going through something. So, you know, it can change from the next person. They can have a totally different experience, and, you know, just totally different.
Different dream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, different reality.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm going to try to keep this short just because I have a lot to talk about. I'm going to go into the deep dive into the allegory of the cave in a little bit. But for me, and I'm certain for everybody, one thing that I know for a fact that everybody sees through a shadow is their politics. And oftentimes, many people see their religion through a shadow too. So those are oftentimes off topic for most people just because it's so sensitive and it is their personal truth, and you can't really argue those things. You can't really discuss those things because it's different for everybody.
100%.
Yeah, a lot of
Yep,
people
I
get
can definitely agree
emotional
with that.
talking about those things.
Yep. That's part of the beauty of being a human, right? Is that we're allowed to like go through those growing pains is really what I call them. Those experiences of feeling that way, like when somebody tells you something that's hurtful, but really it's a thing that can cause you to grow. It's like those feelings are that conflicted feeling is the most growing moments in our lives usually, for sure.
And a lot of media has us manipulated, you know, like even our algorithms, like we can look at the same story. It's going to show you comments in one light and show me comments in a different light, you know, depending on,
Very
you
true.
know, our view or what they want us to see or
Gender,
what
yeah,
they
any
think
of that.
that we're into. So a
You're definitely
lot of
right. And
manipulation.
we have to be the ones to grab the wheel, though. You know, instead of letting people drive us around, we need to grab the wheel and be the ones to control
Right.
that. Because you know, it's this guy. He did a test where he was saying exactly what you were saying. How the media was like curating his content, and so he started looking up only content with puppies, and that's all he got. So that's what we need to start curating our lives to ignore the dumb stuff and the negativity, and only push the positive stuff. And that's what we're going to get more of. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying ignore it because that doesn't make the problem go away, but I'm just saying we don't need to consume our lives in it completely either. Um, Actually, I don't want to take up too much time because the nerdy has to get into his reading, but I do want to mention to you guys I have some stuff to give away. I actually have some supplements. These are Enigma supplements. I actually have some honey. These are 1 gram honeys. And I also have some tincture, some mushroom tincture. I have some littler bottles of this. And I have some. This is for the holidays. It's chai latte mix. It's got spiced oranges and it's really good, high quality mixed up stuff. I mixed this all up myself. It's all bought individually and mixed up myself. I have hot cocoa. I have cocoa in different flavors like peanut butter and chocolate. So, um, you guys, I guess we need to get you to um, prove that you're 21 for the supplements. If you're 21 plus, you'll have to verify. For the rest of the stuff, we just need to get you guys' address. We'll send you over to our website and get your address through there.
You just go to mysticjourneyschurch.org and sign up for membership. And during your membership, the membership is free for anybody to sign up. But if you want any of these gifts that are 21 and up, like the Enigma supplements or some of these other dose chocolate supplements that I'll be giving out as well, you have to be age verified. So during the sign up, you will be presented with a age verification. It's entirely optional, but if you want these gifts, you have to be age verified. So go ahead and fill out the membership form and just fill out the parts you're comfortable with. And if we're going to ship you stuff, we also need your address, but that's also optional. Only if you win do we need your address and your ID. It should be pretty simple. mysticjourneyschurch.org.
Definitely. And we're going to do a couple giveaways throughout the show. So we got a couple different people that can possibly get something here. And we appreciate all you guys' support. So we're going to be able to give something back to you. You guys have been a great team. So thank you guys for everything you do. And thank you guys as well too, Derek and Mary. You guys put in a lot of work for this, and it's been a lot of work, and we've gotten it pretty well up and running. It's only going to get better from here. You guys appreciate it, Ron.
It looks like we have 6 people watching now. Oreo Meowbert is in the chat. Would you like to give something away now, or do you want to wait a little bit? We've only got
we can
6 watching now.
What do you think? We can run it back, and we can do them both at the same time. It's up to you.
There's no pressure.
Let's do it like that.
All right. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a little time before we get to the round to me, and guessing what's in my can.
Build some
I'll give
people
you
in.
guys the first hint at that once you get to that benchmark. But
okay, sweet.
In the meantime,
spread the word.
I'll start the deep dive, which would be number 2, the Allegory deep dive. So, the Allegory of the Cave comes from Plato's Republic, Book 7, in which Plato's teacher Socrates is having a discussion with Plato's older brother Glaucon about an imaginary situation where prisoners are held at the end of a long underground cave. As right here at point number 1, the cave has a long entrance open to the outside light its entire distance. The prisoners' legs and necks are bound from childhood so that they cannot move and are only able to look forward toward the cave wall. Directly behind the prisoners, there is a raised wall with a walking path behind it, with the bright fire behind that. And there are puppeteers in front of the fire, just below the wall, who perform shadow plays for the prisoners to see. Besides the puppeteers, there are also people carrying statues, casting shadows of people and animals made of stone, wood, and other materials. Some of these people are speaking and others are silent. The prisoners perceive these shadows of artificial objects and echoes cast on the cave wall by the puppeteers and object bearers in the cave as reality. And then if you go to stage 2, if you could imagine, one of the prisoners is freed and made to stand up, turn around, walk forward, and look toward the light. In doing each of these things, he feels pain. And because of the brightness of the light, he is unable to clearly see the objects whose shadows he formerly saw. What do you think he would say if someone told him that everything he had seen before was a lie, and that he is now nearer to reality and now facing things that are far more real than the shadows? And if someone would point at the objects and ask him what they are, he would be at a loss, and he would still think that the shadows he saw before were more clear and real than the things that are now pointed out to him. He would even try to return to the shadows that he was able to understand and think of them as more clear and true than the physical objects that were pointed out to him. He is then forced up the path to level 3, which is rough and steep, and he is not let go until he is fully out into the sun. He would certainly find it painful to be pulled along into the path, being pulled along the path into the light. And when he came out into the light, it would be so bright that he would not even be able to see anything that we call reality. His eyes would need time to adjust to be able to see things higher up. At first, he would only be able to see clearly the shadows and then reflections of men, animals, and other real things. And then at level 4, After more time adjusting, he would be able to see the real things themselves. Then he would go on to contemplate the appearance of the sky more easily by night, looking at the light of the stars and the moon. In level 5, finally, he would be able to look at the sun itself and see its true nature, not by reflections in water, but in its rightful place in the sky, more easily at sunrise and sunset. And at this point, he would realize that it is the sun that provides the seasons and the cycles of the year, and is in some way the cause of all things in the visible realm. And at this point, Socrates explains, God knows whether it is true, but at any rate, my dream, as it appears to me, is that in the region of the known, the last thing to be seen and hardly seen is the idea of good, and that when seen, it must needs point us to the conclusion that this is indeed the cause for all things of all that is right and beautiful, giving birth in the visible world to light, and the author of light, and itself in the intelligible world being the authentic source of truth and reason, and that anyone who is to act wisely in private or public must have caught sight of this.
100%. Well said, Socrates.
Now let's go back to the freed prisoner. If he thinks back to his original imprisoned state and what passed for wisdom there, don't you think he would be happy in his new understanding of the world and pity the prisoners left behind? And if there had been honors and prizes among the prisoners for the one who was quickest to make sorry, I lost my place. The one who was quickest to make out the shadows as they passed, and best able to remember their sequences, and most successful at guessing what was to come. Do you think he would care about these rewards and honors? Certainly not. If he went back down again with the prisoners, wouldn't he struggle to see anything, since he suddenly came in out of the sunlight? Now, if he tried to compete with these prisoners in evaluating these shadows, while his eyes were still adjusting to the dark, wouldn't the other prisoners find him ridiculous? And wouldn't they say that he had returned from his journey disabled, with his eyes ruined, and that it was not worth attempting the ascent? And if it were possible, wouldn't they try to kill any person who tried to release and lead any more of them up? You know as well as I do, they would. Which brings me to point number 6. Socrates explains that once you experience the good, and number 5, it's actually your duty to go back to number 2 and 1 to help the prisoners, even though it's to no surprise that those that reach this height generally won't want to occupy themselves with the affairs of the world and society. It will be uncomfortable, and you will look ridiculous while you adjust to the darkness. But it is our duty to return to harmonize and adapt the citizens to one another, convincing them to be generous and charitable toward each other for the health and longevity of the community. This is the path of the philosopher and the mystic.
Definitely.
And that's pretty much my conclusions on the allegory of the cave, but I would like to explain how I actually interpret
Definitely.
each of
That's
these
what I would really.
levels.
Yeah.
First of all, point 1, my interpretation, well, let's do that one. There we go. Section 1, I see that as stolen attention. It's screen time. It's distractions. It's that constant notification that's going off in the background that's distracting you from your work. Level 2 is influence and wealth. Notice I didn't say money. Wealth is more than money. It's so much more. But level 2 is definitely influence. Level 3, I consider that one personal material truths. For me, That's self-awareness, discipline, and practice every day. Level 4, I consider that one personal spiritual truths. So that's religion, the 4 and 5 agreements. And I also consider that self-worth and self-respect. Level 5, up there with the sun, that's the universal truths. As Plato calls it, it's the good, or light, or the source. And for me, I consider that grace, love, and acceptance. And like Plato is also describing in the allegory, is that once you reach level 5 and you've seen the good, there's nobody more qualified to return and lead and, take office,
100%.
bring home the boon. And I consider that inner peace for all, teaching other people how to go down this path just like we have. So now it's our turn to take our place
100%.
right there in spot number 2. Help
Yep.
lead the community to the rightful
Takes a
place.
lot of bravery to do
Yeah.
because, like you said, there's a lot of people that are going to have that same reaction that you once had, the same way that we had that same reaction to religion and spirituality when we first had our adversity towards it. Now we have to go back and try to speak to those people and try to get them to open their hearts and their minds without being a forced present upon them, because that's what people are going to think, that we're trying to bestow our beliefs onto them. But what we're trying to do is show them, hey, you can learn how to think for yourself. There's a world out there for you to experience for yourself. You just have to go out there. And you made a great point about being sucked into our phones. That's one of the ones for sure, is our phones. It could be so many different things, because there are people that don't even have a phone, right? That are still sucked into the same cycle that people that have phones. Distractions. You said it. Is that the way you put number one? Distractions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very, very well put.
And
That's
stolen
exactly what it
attention,
is.
especially
Stolen attention.
stolen
100%.
attention. Time wasted in front of the screen.
Yes, and you mentioned it because number 2 is the wealth. It's not just our money though. It's they're trying to steal anything that's of value, and not just our money, our time, our efforts, our loyalty, everything. And Derek mentioned this about how that's what media is trying to do to us, trying to force us down that pathway of looking that way. It's
Right.
very well said.
A lot of people don't realize is that we are the product when we consume that sort of media.
That's just what I was mentioning, man.
Yep.
Like,
And
we're the
what I
ones
was
to blame.
saying
We're curating it.
in a previous episode is that we've got to fight fire with fire. So here we
Definitely.
are.
We have to be the ones that stand up and make a change, because if not, somebody else is going to take the opportunity to do it, and they're not going to have this good intentions behind it. I mean, this is the thing about technology with AI and people in leadership, anything where there's power to be held. You need to make sure that people will have a systems check, and if it's just one person taking all the power and King Kong being in on the chest, it's not really fair to anyone, and it's just a game of greed and manipulation, and that's what we're living in. It's happening right before our eyes.
Yeah.
I always call it the journey of the trench. There's this band I love. It's called 21 Pilots, and that's what their whole journey of going through the trenches is. The same thing of the allegory of the cave. You go through something like depression or loss of grief or anything that's really difficult in your life. It could be so many different things that give us that journey of going through something really treacherous, and we get out the other side, and we never really thought we could get there, but when we finally do, it allows us to go, I need to go back in, because there's people in that trench right now that think there's no way out. I need to go out there and show them. And you start to become what I call a trench walker. People who I label as what I call fallen angels have this mentality of, I'm going to go and do it and help. Because even if they don't agree, and even if they try to kill me for it, they're going to have to listen to what I say. And hopefully it will change the world. People like Plato and Socrates, these people that we're reading about, Einstein, all these people, these are people that have changed the world with that attitude. I'm going to step up, and today is going to be our day to change this view. We don't have to hate and disagree and all this negativity that the world is. I can go on and on, but yeah, you get my point.
So we have 6 people watching now. I guess we could go ahead and give a clue as to what's in my can.
Okay.
Clue number 1 is that it was invented in Colorado. Feel free to use Google, do whatever you want, but go ahead
100%.
and type it into the chat what your guess is, and I'm watching, I'm paying attention. If anyone gets it right, I will stop the show and I will interrupt whoever's talking, and I will.
We have mentioned this actually in a different episode, right?
Yeah,
What's in the? Yeah.
I've hinted at it. I don't know if I've actually said what it is,
Okay.
but I came up with the idea in a previous episode. So it
That's
was
sweet.
invented in Colorado, and the winner, they get. I have a picture here. They will get a 4 agreements book
Very cool.
and a 1 gram Tootsie Roll. This thing is twice the size I usually make them, but it's 1 gram of sacrament in
So
that.
good.
It's also some of the divine, a little package of this has 8 capsules in it, about 200 milligrams a piece.
Very
Got
cool.
a button, 4 agreements book, of course, a sticker from yours truly,
Very cool.
and also all of the handouts and religious stuff help you on your spiritual journey, so that help protect you along the way. It's really,
Very
really
awesome.
important to make sure that you're doing this stuff as carefully
Safety
and
above all.
by the book as possible, so that you can protect yourself, especially if you're not in the state of Colorado. So anyone can
Yeah, I
guess
should.
at any time, but at this moment, there's no guesses coming in. So I say we go ahead and move on to see what Derek has to say, if he has any new insights.
I
Well,
should
I
mention
think
really quick. These are enigmas. These are 100 milligrams a piece. There's a 10 pack that I have right there.
nice. Nice. I think the
Sorry, I didn't mean
darkness
to
is
cut
a
you off.
lot like a lot of us. We start off defeated because of what we've been told. When we were younger. Maybe a teacher told us we weren't good enough, or weren't smart enough, or a parent or a loved one. So you hear that negativity, and then you start to grow, and you realize that that is not right. That is not the truth. And that's kind of the light there. But we start off defeated, and we got to get out of that darkness. And then once you're out of that darkness, then you're pulling, like HB said, you're pulling other people with you, because
Definitely.
you don't want, you see them in that negative reinforcement, that you believe it because you heard it from someone you trust or respect. And then that just, it keeps you small. It really does. So once you're out of that, you can really grow.
I mean, it's beautifully said, dude. Couldn't have said it better myself. Have you got any guesses yet for what's in the
No
can?
guesses. We have 5 people watching now, so we lost one, unfortunately. But that's just the way it is. It's our first show.
100%. We appreciate you guys tuning in. All you guys' support's been been really super great. Thank
For
you.
your time.
Mello's
Yeah, it's
here.
100%. Mello,
Hey,
hey,
Mello,
how are
how's it
you?
going?
How's it
It's
going?
nice to see you. Thanks for joining in.
So right now, I guess is a good time to start the freeform Q&A. If anyone has any questions for any of us, or if you want to guess what's in my can, feel free to speak up. And in the meantime, we're just going to keep talking and chatting.
100%.
So whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, I just want to pick back up on what Derek was saying, because I think that's really super beautiful. I think going through the change. There's this beautiful quote that I always use. There's 2 flowers that are side by side, and one's bloomed and one isn't. And one of them goes, "Wow, why am I not bloomed?" Is because you're a different flower, silly. I think that's so beautiful, because that's what growing through that darkness and through that pain really is. It's like you're not going to be able to progress at the same rate that somebody else is, because of what you said, that you may have had more opportunities where somebody has pushed you down. So it's going to take longer for you to get up. And not only that, you could have had just as many opportunities of somebody pushing you down as the person next to you, but they just happen to be a different flower. So they're more resilient to that kind of stuff. And there are probably other things that they're not as resilient to. If you ask them and really break it down, when you feel like you're going through this journey, quote unquote, alone, which we all are, right? But we're all together in this, whether you think we are or not. Whether you're literally completely alone in the middle of nowhere, we're still connected. Like there's that energy and that will to give and love and be creative and have a purpose and a drive. That's really super important. I think the people that are not open-minded to that kind of thing are really the people that are the people watching the shadows in the cave. And it's really hard to convince somebody to try to open their mind when they're stuck in that situation, because that's how we all were at one time.
Yeah.
At least us all three individually, right?
Yeah.
I think we can fairly say that.
And in
Another thing,
different ways at different parts of our life.
100%.
yeah, another thing we could also compare it to is like growing two different mushrooms. Like Enigma is very strong, but it also is subject. It takes a lot longer to get there, and it's subject to a lot more contamination. Where a strain, a variety like B plus, is going to go a lot faster. It's not going to be as powerful, but it's
Definitely.
it's going to bloom. So
That's
like
why
the
the
flower.
personality types are really important to me. Because that's why people use it for jobs, to try to the Enneagram tests and stuff like this, to try to match people together. But that's why I think it's really super important, because there are going to be people that have strengths that you don't have. Certain people are going to be way more personable with people and way more happy and outgoing, and you're going to be way more introverted. But that's going to be help you in a certain way that it's not going to help them. And y'all together is going to create the perfect team. I mean, that's what you talked about this at the very beginning of the show about, like, creating a Marvel super team. That's really what you're doing. You're the Colson, and you're like, hey, I need you to go here and do this because you're good at this, and you're a hothead, so I'm not going to send you out there doing that because you're going to lose your cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though you still have care and feelings for people, and you know that they're in the good, you still know where to put people because of how they're going to react. And we're all on our own journey. That's beneficial. The ENFP, I always talk about how the ENFP is the power of the pen is mightier than the power of the sword. Well, I'm an INFJ. I'm the total, complete opposite of the spectrum. So I'm more likely to go in there with, hey, what do we need to do to stop this right now? Rather than, let's just think about it and talk about it. But that creates a beautiful team whenever you have somebody going, hey, man, before you just run up in there, let's see if we can talk to this person first. And then you go, okay, well, I'm still here. Things do need to get to that point, because you don't want people to necessarily like walk all over you and push you over either. Because that's the thing of the trench that I talked about, or the cave. There are things in that cave that are like bats, and there's no food, and it's dark and it's cold, and there's things in the cave that you're going to have to deal with, and that's life essentially, right?
Boundaries are important.
Yeah,
Boundaries
and as
are
above,
important.
so below. I thought about this when you mentioned the allegory. You're reading about your interpretation of it. It's I think that as above, so below, because the sun is there, and the sun has a creator too. And even though it doesn't have a mind and a soul like we do, as far as we know, it's still there, and it still has the same as above, so below, because it's looking down at us like, wow, if you could only be up here where I am as a sun, and you know what I mean? And this, in the analogy of the cave, we're looking at the sun like it's God, but really, it has a creator too.
Any guesses yet?
Any guesses?
No guesses,
Come
but I will go
on.
ahead and present it again. Mello wants to know why there's no like button, and I'm saying I have no idea. This is our first live. But if anyone wants to guess what is in my can,
It might not be until afterwards.
it was invented in Colorado. And if you guess what's in the can, you will get the prize, which is a nice little gift pack with the 4 agreements, some dosed chocolate roll, and some supplements. In order to get this stuff, you have to sign up for a membership on our website and get age verified, because I cannot send it to anybody that is under the age of 21.
No,
Or do you want to
100%.
give a little hint? Because I believe there was a lot of things invented in Colorado.
I was
Yeah,
going to say that as well.
That's
Yeah.
kind of a tough one.
Colorado. It fits in this can, and it sounds like that. And it's sweet.
That's a good
I'll
Pretty good
make it
hint.
easy for you guys.
It's a pretty good hint. Yeah, these are Enigma 100 milligrams
All
a
right,
piece.
so
Actually,
RD
do have some
Organic Grown
60 plus. Yeah.
shows guessed Jolly Rancher and got it right. That is
Fire
That's my
exactly what is
man.
in my
Nice.
can.
That's
We've
my
got
man. What's up,
Jolly
Richard? How are you,
Rancher.
buddy? Happy Thanksgiving
So
to you and your family, Richard.
go to mysticjourneyschurch.org, sign up for membership, get age verified, and make sure you include your address so that I know where to send the package to, and you will get the button, the capsules, chocolate roll, 4 agreements,
100%.
everything right there that's on the screen right now. It's going right to you. RD Organic Grown Show
Yep, it's
265.
free to join. Costs no money
Yeah,
to join, by the way.
costs nothing. I'm shipping it on my dime. Costs you
100%.
nothing. And we don't
That's
share
Richard.
your
That's my
personal
buddy Richard. He's a
information with
great guy.
anybody. And thanks for playing.
Yeah, I have some HV slaps for you guys.
Nice.
Awesome. So that our next live show will probably be next Wednesday, and we'll be doing What's in Nerdy's Can again. It'll be something different, but this time it was Jolly Ranchers.
It's very good.
Which,
yeah, I could send you guys a couple of each of these. So chai latte. As long as you guys don't have any allergies, that's mixed up with a bunch of different herbs. This is a hot cocoa. It's got marshmallows, all 3 different size marshmallows. I have peanut butter hot cocoa, and I have regular hot cocoa, and I have mint hot cocoa as well. And I also have a couple graham honeys to give away as well.
so how do you want to give those away, HB?
I've been thinking about that. I think what I want to do is I wanted to do the agreements. That's just going to be too easy for people. And doing a number drawing, it just seems too complicated. Give me a couple minutes. Let me think about it. Okay.
And I'd also like to point out this chocolate roll that I'm giving RD Organic Grown Show is vegan. It's allergen free. It's free of like 15 different allergens, no corn. And you can see me making the recipe on our YouTube channel. It's the magic dough recipe. So it's the exactly same thing. It's just twice the size than what I made in the video. It's a big gun.
Oh man, I can mention that too. I have. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say next Wednesday I'll be giving away some swabs, some spore swabs,
Okay.
courtesy of Z Labs. I'll come up with something easy, something fun and easy for guests to win.
Actually, I have one of his stickers here as well.
Yeah. Swabs are
Nice.
great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Z Labs is really awesome.
Very good. Yeah, I was going to mention that I have a video I just finished editing today. I'll probably have it uploaded tomorrow, sometime this week anyway, before the end of the week, on making herbal tinctures. I actually have a couple that I can give away. You guys can pick between. I have several different, probably like 15 or 20 different herbs and stuff that you can pick from. I actually make a cough blend as well too, with like 7 different herbs in it for cough, or I have them individually. This one's basil. I have oregano, thyme, turmeric, ginger, different stuff like that. Or I can mix them up for you guys specifically, if you guys want stuff like that. For this one, I think I'm going to just do the 10-pack of Enigmas. These are 100 milligrams a piece, and I'm going to I can do whatever flavor of these that you guys want, and I also throw in a honey too as well. To give it away, I guess let's I have an idea. Give me just a moment.
A Nerdy and I open to these giveaways, HP?
I'm sorry, say again.
I was joking. I said as a Nerdy and I open to these giveaways.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I can send you guys a little care package if you really want it. I like doing that stuff for my friends for sure. That's what is so cool about this, is that this is the type of stuff I love to do anyway. So to have like 100 friends to be able to share it with is really awesome. I have a good one here. I'm gonna see who's the first person who can guess this quote. And you guys can use Google to search it if you want. It's all fair game here. As a quote, it says, "We're all here from random acts of kindness." Who said, "We're all here from random acts of kindness"? Who said that? Whose quote is that from? I don't want to give any hints. First person to guess it. Hopefully it's RD again. That'd be really cool. Gets 2 giveaways in one go. That'd be really sweet.
You want to repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, we're all here from random acts of kindness. Who said we're all here from random acts of kindness? That's a really beautiful like sentiment, isn't it? Like, because the world's filled with so much hate and like You got to think about how many barbarians, like savages, have like taken over the world and got us to the point we are right now. But the bottom line is, we're only here where we are right now from somebody like looking past all that and just trying to do good for humanity and themselves, like their community. You know what I mean? Like the small and the big of it all. I think it's really beautiful. Do you guys know by chance, without giving it away? Do you know who it is?
I do not
Have you
know.
ever heard that? You do know who it is.
I'm
I'll
looking it
say
up right
that.
now.
I'll say you do know who it is.
Okay.
I wonder if you can even find it. You might not can even Google it. It might not can even be something that you could Google. If it's not, I can just like drop hints. I'll say he's a mycology guy. A really big guy in the mycology scene.
Oh, I know who said that, but I don't know if it's specifically attributed to him.
Maybe, and I've kind of thought this, but like it seems like something that he said. Like it doesn't seem like something that he parroted, but
That's
it's
a
definitely
really
something
big
that he did
clue.
say.
That was a big clue, though. It's kind of like,
Because I thought about it, I'm like, if you can't find it, they're probably not going to be able to find it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the first person that gets it. So let's go, you guys. I'll show you what I'm giving away while you guys can guess it. I got a 10-pack of Enigma right here. These are 100 milligrams a piece. Sorry for the glare. I got a vial of 1 gram honey. This is Thrasher. No, actually, I take it back. This is Machino.
all right. Oreo Meowbert guessed Paul Stamets.
That is correct. That is 100% correct.
All
We're
right,
sending
good
it
job.
to
Congratulations, Oreo.
Definitely cool.
So
And
make sure you
I
get
also
signed
have
up on a website for membership. It's mysticjourneyschurch.org. I almost said the wrong nonprofit. Right.
definitely.
But yeah,
Gonna have some
mysticjourneyschurch.org. Sign up
HD
for
stuff.
membership and get age verified. And once you're age verified, your free game. You can get any of our giveaways at any time. Our
100%.
giveaways with the sacrament are 21 and up.
Yep. And then I have stickers and like other little stuff too. Some like these little mushroom trinket things. If I could get it off my sticker here. Some like little mushroom stickers too. Stickers with different kind of mushrooms. Little fun stuff like that.
Congratulations, winners. That was really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And thank you guys for tuning in. You know, I have something I want to cover here right here. Let me get my notes. So, did we talk about that before about prayer is like putting your heart above your head? Did we have that conversation personally, or did we speak of that on the podcast the last time?
I don't remember that.
I think it's a really good, beautiful concept, and I heard somebody speaking about this the other day. Bear with me because I'm trying to like articulate my thoughts as I'm going along and speaking about this. He basically it's about when people pray, they bow to pray. You know, sometimes different cultures they bow to pray. What you're doing, the symbolicism of bowing to pray is putting your heart above your head, like literally putting your heart above your head. So, and I think that's a beautiful sentiment because especially somebody like me is so logical, and I literally need God to like come down here, grab me by the shoulder, shake me, and say, "Hey, I'm alive, I'm real." I think it's a beautiful sentiment just to put your logic aside and put your heart above your head to have trust and faith, because that's when I think that it really starts to work. Because the allegory of the cave is a really great example of this. So you have to trust in so many things to step out of that cave. Trust in yourself that you can do it. Trust in the people that are taking you out of the cave. Trust in the stuff outside the cave that's not going to harm you. It's really good to try to like, because people want to try to add too much logic and reason. And trust me, I'm a guy of like logic and reason, but I believe there's a certain point where we can't have logic and reason. So I think it's fun to like fantasize about, take the red pill and see how deep we can really go down the rabbit hole. I like the idea of putting your head above your heart and situations of, again, we're all here from random acts of kindness, not because somebody goes, "Oh, well, logically, if I give you all my stuff, I'm not going to have any." We did that because somebody was like careless and they put their heart out there and was like, "Ah, screw it, have it. Who cares?" Because it really doesn't matter in the end at all anyway. Like that's how you're going to progress humanity. And if you're a sociopath, you're going to care about yourself. You're a narcissist, then yeah, keep it for yourself. Who cares, right? But we're trying to make better people, a better planet, and that's how we do it. And instead of staring at our phones and all this negative stuff all day, Like, be the change you want to see. That's the beginning of the quote that we read in the book. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. It starts within. I know it's cliche and you've heard that 100,000 times, but it's so true, man. And if you haven't followed it, then you don't know it to be true. You have to follow it
So that's
100%.
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein is that quote. I should have said that. Yes, sir. Sorry. Yeah. You got to be, nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to, Derek touched on this a little bit about building your mind in a rut. Um, you have to take that first step to hop out. And that's why, to me personally, psychedelics help out so much because it helps me get to that first step of getting to that place of, being so hard headed and stubborn, running into a brick wall of logic and reasoning and never opening up my heart, where the psychedelics allow me to open up my heart and go, wow, the answer really is love. Like, if you just love and have faith, it ends up working out in the end. It's such a like weird, like the talk of manifestation and like creating your own reality is a weird talk, but it's so true, man. And it doesn't like if what you're doing isn't working, maybe you need to open up your mind and open up your heart. It's really hard to do because what you have to do, I always say, you have to close your eyes to see what people are like looking around. Like, I'm trying, I'm thinking, I'm doing. It's like, yeah, that's why it's not working. It's the oxymoron, the
Continuing
paradox of life.
continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different
Never
results, that's insanity.
sanity, dude. And we've all been there. Like, you have. I always say that to people as an encouragement thing. Like, don't feel like, oh, I'm insane, so you're telling me I'm crazy. It's like, yeah, but you have to mess up a lot to get to where you are. And that's another Albert Einstein quote. It's like, you never made it. Like, the only person who um never made a mistake is the person who never learned anything new. So if you never make a mistake, you never have the chance to try something new. Like, sometimes you're going to do something for the first time and be really good at it, but for the most part, you're going to have to fail a lot. Like, drawing a picture, it's going to first 20,000 pictures you draw are going to be way crappier than the last 20,000 you draw. Playing a song on a guitar is going to be way crappier the first 100 times you do it than the last 100 times. It's like the
Doesn't
progression.
matter. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything takes practice.
And I know it's all 100%, dude. I know it's all subjective and up for interpretation, but I feel like the universe rewards us for doing that because it's needless. We don't have to do it. And somebody next to you could argue, nerdy, why would you waste your time doing all that? But really, there's a benefit to it. The universe
We'd
rewards
all
us
be
for acting.
we'd all be crawling around if we,
Yeah, there'd be no
got
songs on the
first steps
radio.
and we fall.
100%, man.
I mean that's
100%.
like one of the earliest examples of not giving up. Was walking, a baby walking. Because how many times does a kid fall before they actually take their first several steps, and then they're running all over the place. So it's all practice.
Yep.
It's all putting in the work and to do better.
I'm thinking about Jolly Ranchers. What's the best flavor? So what's the
Blue.
best Jolly Rancher flavor, guys?
Blue's good.
I miss
Watermelon's
those
really
fire
good.
sticks.
The fire sticks.
Yeah,
those sticks are good. I haven't seen
Yeah.
those.
I have
in
some.
ages.
I got some. I should have brought them for you guys. I didn't bring them, but I did bring one candy for you because I knew you were gonna have a candy on you, so I brought one too.
Watermelon or apple are the ones that most
Apple,
people
that green
forget
apple.
about.
I like
Oh,
watermelon.
That's the good one right there.
yeah, I love the green apple.
There's not very many things I like the apple flavoring of. What is that? Mango.
It's a tamarind candy.
Oh, nice. I like tamarind. Tamarind's good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, you can get the tamarind from Walmart and basically soak it in a little bit of water and get it off the seeds, then mix it in with some applesauce, and then
Oh,
dehydrate
really?
it.
That's how you
You
do
make
it?
yourself a nice fruit leather, and it's like a tart tamarind fruit leather out of
I
applesauce and
love
tamarind.
that. Such a
Delicious.
bizarre flavor combination, especially if you never grew up with it.
Yeah, I
I
love that
love
stuff.
Muddy Bears. Muddy Bears, chocolate and gummies. Those are like two of my favorite things. Oh,
I don't know if I've ever heard of those.
Chocolate covered pineapple gummy bears is peak.
Golden Bears. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But Colorado mix is what I'm eating today. That's the good stuff. So it's got bears, it's got bats, it's got berries, it's got licorice.
Lions and
all
tigers and
sorts.
bears.
It has eggs in it. Like around Easter time, they got those duck eggs. It's
Mm.
got those, like little versions of it, like these little things. It's like a little marshmallow egg, but it's like got like and like licorice bits and bats. It's got all the good stuff in here. It's got the berries.
Berries are so good.
It's
How many
so
different
amazing.
flavors? How many different flavors are in that bag?
It's got like
That's-
everything, man. But yeah, keeping Colorado colorful and rad. But yeah, this is like the ultimate Haribo for me. I love this stuff. Ugh, so good. But
Yeah,
you gotta pay up for it because it's coming straight from like Germany. This is the German stuff. You know,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so you ain't gonna find this in your regular grocery store. Yeah.
I'm reading a Romans quote for you guys. Sorry, you go ahead.
I was asking Nerdy if he tried Lidl or Aldi because sometimes they get candies from overseas. Like I've gotten some
Yeah.
really good gummies there, and they're made in Germany and stuff like that, and they are like really good.
Yeah, I don't have Aldi's out here. We do have their sister company, Trader Joe's, but no Aldi's, and I love Aldi's.
Yeah.
That's where I
Very
shop at
disappointing.
mostly. I got
Yeah.
one next door. It's mostly where I shop. This is a Romans quote right here. This is 12:2, chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. I love a lot of the Roman quotes. The stories and are really good. I'm not a big Bible guy. I haven't really studied it or read a lot of it, but when I hear these, like I've started to look for commonalities. Um, that's a great quote. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Literally speaks about the allegory of the cave in one sentence. That's really a beautiful quote. I have a couple more I can read for you guys.
But yeah, sorry, keep talking about my candy, but
You're good, man. Go
licorice,
ahead.
all those things I just mentioned, licorice, bears, bats, berries, eggs, all those things are
You got them
totally
here, I guess.
in
Yeah.
Colorado, and I just
Well,
love
Colorado
that.
has like 3 different landscapes within this whole
Yeah,
state. Really,
and
if you think about it.
I can go to the local park and find wild licorice. It's fantastic.
Really,
Very medicinal.
very. Hey, man. Yeah, you might have to hook me up with some of that. You did, man. We make a little trade. That'd be nice. Yeah, I could even make you some t-shirt stuff out of it. That'd be cool. Yeah, I have some licorice root. Yeah, that's the only licorice thing I have. It's just a little bit. I buy mine from the apothecary in little batches, and I pre-mix all my stuff. I'm working on a clove pill blend right now for like pain and joint pains and stuff like that.
Total candy nerd here. Sorry, I'm just. It's not very often. I've been holding on to this bag for a while. 'Cause I'm like, I'm gonna break it out when we're live so I can talk about it because it's just so
Very
deep.
cool.
But
Hey,
yeah,
bring it
man.
back out because there's people that won't see it. That will see it later.
Yeah, for real.
You guys
But there's
make sure to
so
spread the
many.
word for it.
So I bought it from Cost Plus World Market. If you have that locally, check them out. They have all the best international candies that you don't even know that you're missing out on. So many different kinds of Haribo. There's 2 other kinds of Haribo that I love besides the Colorado mix, but they don't have licorice in it. I love licorice. I got to have that in my mix. There's Tropifruity and Fruity Bussy. The Fruity Bussy, they got like mango and there's a couple other flavors in there, but they're like half marshmallow and they got the filling on the inside. It's really, really good. And then the
Like the shark.
Tropifruity, it's a more of an all natural gummy. And the nice thing about that mix is it's all tropical, but they have banana. And there's a nice banana flavor in that Tropifruity. Kind of like the unicorns that you can get at Dollar Tree right now. They have a banana unicorn in that mix, and it's pretty good. But yeah, it's kind of worth it. Anyway, HB, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're not interrupting. I was just thinking I haven't been really eating a lot of candy lately, but what I did get is I got a gingerbread house
Mm.
from Aldi, and they have the gingerbread house, and they also have like a gingerbread village, which is like four little tiny houses. So I'm gonna make a really sick gingerbread village out of like
Nice.
a bunch of different. It comes with all the candy pieces and the icing and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna really have a lot of fun with that, like a 3-year-old kid, and totally get lost in building a gingerbread house.
Nice.
100%. I love the holidays. I'm a big holiday guy. I think a lot of people have like a really ball humbug attitude that don't have family or like came from a really tough situation. But to me, it's like gives you an opportunity to make it what I want it to be, and that's the allegory of the cave. Really like making like creating it to be what we want it to be instead of what have people feed these images and like live by them. Yep, 100%. Have you guys do anything like that for Christmas? Like cookies for Santa or any of that kind of stuff.
Um, Here on the 14th, December 14th, I'm going to have a class that I'm teaching up in Fort Collins, Colorado, at the Masonic Lodge from 2 to 4. I'll be teaching a class on how to make dosed gingerbread cookies. They're
Very
vegan,
cool.
gluten free, and all the above. And yeah, they're magic Christmas cookies for Santa.
Nice.
Yeah, Santa's gonna have a magical ride if he wasn't already. A little bit of extra to get him on his way.
And they're vegan too. So instead of eggs, I use banana. And this is a recipe that I invented last Christmas because I was bringing them to events and I had people that were vegan and I was like, I got to come up with a new recipe. So here we go. And it turned out
Definitely.
great. And it went over really, really well with the community.
Yeah, it sucks to try to dodge allergies. It's better to have something that everyone can have 100% because a lot of times people will be like, "Oh, I can have peanut butter, it's fine." Like, no, you're allergic to it. You can't have it.
And that banana, even though I switched out the egg for the banana, that banana really complemented the flavor of the gingerbread. It just put it over the top. It made it something special.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I can keep going. You didn't cut me off by the way, but I can keep going if you want me to kill a little bit more time
Yeah, if you
for
want
the
to,
end of
go
the
for it.
show.
We got 7
Yeah, I
watching
do.
now. Yeah, have at it.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw a quote at you guys. I want you to fire back at me what you think about this. Comparison is not the thief of joy. Envy is. Comparison is not the thief of joy. Envy is. So, for example, if I say that, you know, oh, you have a huge house and I don't have a huge house, so blah 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 blah. Or I could
Envy.
frame it the other 100% because I could frame it the other way around and go, wow, you have a really big house and I don't. That's really great. That's crazy. Like, congratulations. And for
Not
me,
everybody wants a big
it's
house.
oh yeah. I mean, not only that, but just to like it's been a big thing for me to not be a hater, not be a sore loser, man. Like celebrate people when they do good. Like, like why you gotta be such a hater, man? Because somebody's got something that you don't have and you wanna have like a negative sour attitude on it. It's really bittersweet because what I like to do in a situation whenever I'm going through something really tough, like my hardest days in life, I like to look at other people's perspectives and go, well, it could always be worse, right? It could always be worse, which creates a victim mentality in our heads and makes it seem to be, well, I'm dealing with a horrible situation because I deserve it, which is kind of true to a certain point, right? And again, this is why I'm asking you this guys this question because I think in my head I'm like, that is true because you're kind of playing the victim mentality if you go, well, it could always be worse. But it really shows as long as I'm not being envious about it, I can compare myself to other people and it should be beneficial. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think comparison is not the thief of joy. Envy is. Like, because you can compare yourself to people as long as you're not having envy attached to it, or jealousy, or greed, or any of that crap, right? They have something I don't have. And we're actually going to get it. I'm really skipping ahead, but we're going to get into this next week on the Way Back Wednesday. The story talks about this a little bit about how you're comparing yourself. Oh, I'm not worthy of this, or this happened to me because of blah blah blah. Blah. I was talking about this. They use this in PTSD therapy about how you reframe your frame of mind from going, well, I'm a victim and I deserve this to happen to me because of this. And then you go, well, it didn't deserve to happen to me. It doesn't really deserve to happen to anyone, but I could take what happened to me and learn from it and try to transform it into something positive. Just switch your mind around. 100%.
It's also a matter of understanding what's in your control and out of your control. And, you know, there's no reason stressing about things you have no control over.
Yeah, but I think we do, though. I really think we do have control, but I think losing control gives you control. Instead of trying to force it to go somewhere that you think is better, oh, I think if I had this house and all this money, it would be better for me. How are you to say that? Like, you're not the one writing the story. Like, there's something bigger going on here that you're just a leaf on a river being carried down by the. You are not the river. You think
You
you
just
are. You're part of the
yeah,
river.
you're just looking
Yeah,
from the outside, but you don't see what's going on the inside of that house either. I mean,
exactly, man.
you
100%.
see it and you think, oh, that's beautiful. Life must be so perfect, but you don't know, what it takes to have that house and to keep it. Like I had a teacher way back in high school, and he drove a Rolls canonically, and everyone else, all the other teachers, they had nice cars, and I asked him, he's like, well, I get a nice car, someone's going to want to steal it from me, and well, that made sense. And he said, if I have the most beautiful woman, someone's going to steal her from me. There's always going to be someone wanting what you have. So, you also have that side where you're going to have to protect what you have too, and then worry about that stuff. And then is that going to consume you? So there's a lot of things you
Definitely
don't
right.
see going on, you know.
It kind of
Yeah,
comes
So
because
back
that's
to
what keeps those people in the cave.
comes back to that second stage in the cave where I was talking about wealth.
Exactly.
Everybody has
Yes,
a different
exactly right.
definition of what wealth is,
yeah.
and everybody had their definition of wealth kind of is what influences them in a way.
Yeah, it
If
keeps
you
those
can
people
if
in
you
the
can
cave.
if you can ride down the street in your Rolls Canardly and feel like Steve and Roger in the Ferrari, you know what I mean, on American Dad, they
You're
just
doing right.
yeah.
You're doing right.
It doesn't
You're
take the
really in it.
Ferrari, it just takes the mindset, that
Yeah, man.
you know.
And Nerdy said this with Allegory of the Cave. Those are the people that come back into the cave, and people are looking at them like, "What? What are you so happy for? What is your problem? What's your deal? What have you seen that we haven't?" It's like,
Yep.
"Oh, you think you've seen the fabric of the universe, and you know what it really is." And really, you've just seen it from a broader perspective. Exactly what Derek was saying. You've seen it from a different perspective that they're not seeing it from.
We
So
look
you
like a
realize that
bunch of
instead of,
clowns.
yeah, we do, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I talked about. Like, dude, anybody that you know that you could think in your head that you look up to is not a fully enlightened human being. They're not perfect. No one can be perfect. Like, we're
Yeah.
human beings, we're flawed by our emotions and our thoughts. You know what I mean? I might be a really nice person, but if you walk up and slap me, I might slap you at a reaction and think back on it like, wow, I wish I didn't have to act like that, but I'm a human being, you know? Like, there's going to be
Yeah.
certain situations where our human body is going to like do certain things that our mind isn't what I was going to do. That's the reason why, like, you hear about situations where kids are in danger and they're able to like lift a car off of them or whatever, right? Like these crazy feats, like, 'cause we're separating, like we're out of our body into our like animalistic kind of form, I guess, our monkey brain, if you want to call it
Yeah.
that.
We are just a
And
bunch of
I told my
animals.
monkey brain a lot. I really do. I get upset, I get mad, and I get frustrated, and I get depressed and sad, and all these different weird feelings and emotions, anxiety and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to navigate that the best I can by using the cave, right? Knowing that there's something else out there. I had to go experience it for what it is. That's the beauty of life. It's feeling
Well,
those emotions. Well,
comes back to
I
the
like
four agreements
feeling
too.
all of the emotions.
Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. Keep doing your best. Be impeccable with your words. Don't think
And have
things
no
personally,
expectations.
and
Don't
be
expect
skeptical.
what you're going to see. Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
And I always say the worst thing you could be is an amateur. And the allegory of the cave is a really good example of that because you have some people who have been through that cave hundreds and thousands of times. They're like Jedi masters of the cave. But there's people who haven't been to the cave that much, but they have the third agreement. They break a lot. They have expectations of how it's going to go when they go in the cave, how many people they're going to bring back out, what's going to be in and out of the cave because they think they know it all. Like being an amateur is sometimes the worst thing you can be because it gets you into danger a lot, a lot of harm,
I
especially with
also
these kind
think
of things.
that a significant portion of the people that are released from their binds and they turn around, they get distracted by that shit that's right there by that fire and those objects, those shiny objects that they all
Ooh, that looks
they,
good now
they
because I came
never
out of the
proceed
cave.
outside of the
Yeah,
cave.
yeah,
They never look up and they get
yeah.
distracted right there. And they're like, hey, we got
Well,
control and power and influence. And that's enough
yeah,
for me. Like, oh, that's
yeah.
not enough for me. I want more out of life.
Or even worse, nerdy is they make it out the cave and maybe even make it out the cave a couple times, but then get sucked back into that number two, going back and trying to help people out because they're like, oh well, I've seen it all. What's the point of even helping and doing all this stuff? It got me here, but now do I want to keep doing this? I might as well just go get that Ferrari and drive it around. And a lot
This
of
is a
people do that,
section
especially when there's money involved.
of the allegory of the cave that I did not talk about, where it talks about
Okay.
how you have to have that innate goodness in you before you reach those higher levels. Otherwise, you're going to use it for bad.
Yeah, and you get sucked back in even harder than the people that are there to begin with.
And that's just
100%.
some of the stuff that I cut out for time when I was discussing it earlier. But I tried
Yeah.
to paraphrase as much as possible. But that was one of those things they cut out. Is that like that's one of those things you can't really teach people is how to be, that innate goodness
Yeah.
that you. And some
Yeah.
people just don't have it, and they didn't
Have it.
It's
That's
sad.
why I call people like that it's. That's why I call people like that it's, because exactly what you just said. And when I walk up to somebody and like, because you either have it or you don't, and they go, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're not it. It's automatic. I can tell in my head that you have not walked out the cave and came back in. Because everybody I say that to, like you guys, I can be like, yeah, because you either have it or you don't. And you're like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Because they know like it's that not only the aspiration and drive to get out, because that's easy to have, but how many times can you do it and not be seduced back in there? That's really the difficult part. So what keeps people, it's integrity, it's honor and tried and true. And again, if people lived in a bubble, why would you do good? Why would you have to do good if you just live by yourself? If you didn't have to do anything. But fortunately for us, we're a tribe of human beings. So as much as you might like to think that you hate people, dude, you could be a Democrat and you might hate Republicans, but I guarantee you at the end of the day, if the world goes like shit, you're gonna want to like be there and help this person out and hold their hand and help them in that situation. You're gonna want them to do that for you too. In a situation where things like get really tough.
Yep.
Right after 9/11, it wasn't Democrats or Republicans. It was everyone was
Well
American.
said, man.
It
was a changing moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sucks
I would
because
hate for something bad to happen for us to get back to that. But I mean,
exactly.
That's. I mean, it was. It was love. Well, everyone's loving their neighbor, and it was.
Yeah.
It's a different, more communal. I think. Even though everybody had their differences, but I think it was more communal back then. Right after, and then conspiracies and finger pointing and all that just divided us again. Because they don't want us to be
100%.
happy together. It's keep us divided.
100%. That's what Reagan talked about. That we would need to force an outside force essentially to be able to come together, and that's so sad, man. Like, why does it got to be the word? And I guess it's just built in the evolution of human beings and the like history of how we've come to be who we are. But it doesn't have to be like things have to get crappy for us to get together. Like things should be good, and then we get together. You know what I'm saying? And people can complain about the world, and they should. But listen, dude, times are a lot easier now in the grand scheme of things, as opposed to just even 100 years ago when a simple infection would kill you. I mean, people were having hard times making it through the winter because they didn't have a refrigerator stocked with food. They didn't have medicine that they could just go to the store and get like serious like things for infections or I mean, you name it, serious things that you could fix with natural medicines. That now we've got to a point where we rely on that stuff for sure, and we should, but also at the same time, it kind of creates that dependency for sure, no doubt.
Let's see if the chat has anything to say. I'll just check in with them. I don't see any questions or anything yet, but let's find out. If anybody has any questions for us, just ask. I am paying attention to the chat.
I can run through a couple more things actually. I want to do another quote here. This is from Alan Watts. I'll pick up a little bit. Hold on. Let me just read this quote first. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. And this, again, I'm using these quotes because this all attaches to the allegory of the cave, right? Because a person who thinks all the time has nothing to think except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusion. So he who has a shadow in front of his face to move by and keep his attention never thinks to think outside the cave, because why would they? They have all the entertainment they need right there in front of their face. Well, worse is hopping by on the freaking shadow. Why would you step outside of yourself and learn to think for yourself? Because you're just thinking all the time. And this is why people think that they're trying. Oh, I'm trying. It's like, yeah, you're trying to look at the thing that they're wanting you to look at. You need to look away from that, look inside yourself. And really to do that, you have to close your eyes to be able to see the good in people and things in the world around you. You have to close your eyes and feel it. like inside your heart, your soul. So it goes back to putting your heart above your head. It's really super important. Alan Watts has a talk about if you could dream any dream that you ever could dream, you'd be dreaming the dream you're dreaming right now. Because at first you would think about everything good that you could ever possibly dream. And when you got bored of that, you'd think of all the bad things that you could dream. When you got bored of that, you'd dream the exact dream that you're living right now. You'd think, oh, I want to be HB and a body and a human planet, talking to people on a show. That's like our reality, our, our dream, if you will. You got any questions, everyone?
Just asking for a reminder on how to get age verified on the website.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, again, it doesn't cost anything to join you guys. It's free to join.
So in order to get age verified, which makes you qualified for the 21 and up gifts that we give away, so our divine sacrament. So these are capsules, and I also have Tootsie Rolls that are dosed with our mushroom sacrament. You can just go to mysticjourneyschurch.org and sign up for membership. And in the process of signing up, you can submit your picture of your ID and your address so we know where to send stuff to when you win prizes during our show. And sign up is free. You just need your email address to sign up. Otherwise, we only need your ID and address if you win stuff or if you want the sacrament from us. Other than that, it's pretty easy to go. Just let us know what you need.
Thank you guys so much for your support as well, too.
And thanks for that question.
I think, therefore, I am. That's a really good one. I don't know how to say it in French, which is the original way to say it, but I actually have it written down. I think, therefore, I am.
Nice.
The only reality I can possibly know is the world as I perceive it at this moment, and the only reality that you can know is this world the only world you possibly can know is this world as you see it at this moment, and the only certainty is that those perceived realities are different. There are as many quote unquote real worlds as there are people. Talks about the story of the dream. We're all dreaming our own. We're in our each own matrix, and the way our world works physically is that we can interact with each other physically. Like if I take something of yours, it's really physically happening. So we feel like our worlds are connected. So they are, but my world's only true to me. My perceived reality is only true to me. It's only going to be true to me. I don't like grape flavored candy. Somebody might say. Somebody's like, "Oh, I love grape flavored candy. They're my favorite thing." And are either one of them wrong? It's the like philosophical question. It's like, no, of course not. They're both right in their own way. It's in their own world.
How dare you enjoy grape flavored candy in my presence?
But really, I think it's the thing of practicing your fifth agreement to be skeptical and learn, to ask yourself, do I really hate grape candy? Maybe I don't. Maybe you're right, nerdy. Maybe I should listen to what you're saying. Huh? Okay, maybe I'll try some, nerdy. Maybe you're right. Like, that's the beauty of it. Like, to be able to listen to what we're saying and be like, maybe you're right. Maybe what you're saying is true. Maybe I should try that.
Everything, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the grape. It depends on the candy. It depends on
100%.
a lot of factors.
100%. There's an Alan Watts story where he talks about a Chinese farmer. It's a story of maybe. Have you heard this before?
Maybe.
Well, he talks about how there's a Chinese farmer, and one day he has a horse and he runs off. And somebody comes up to him and says, "Hey, it's sad that your horse ran away." He says, "Maybe." The next day, the horse comes back with 5 more horses. And somebody comes up to him and goes, "Wow, the horse came back and he brought more horses. That's really great." And he says, "Maybe." So the next day, his son was breaking the horses in, trying to break them. They're wild horses. He breaks his leg. And somebody comes up and is like, "Wow, that's so great. It's so bad that happened to your son. He broke his leg." And he goes, "Maybe." So the next day, the army comes to try to recruit soldiers, and they walk past his son because he had a broken leg. And somebody comes up and says to him, "Wow, that's really good." And he says, "Maybe." Because that is our life. Whether, this is a very direct story, so everything's correlated 1-to-1. But our life is like that, whether things are correlated or not. We're always going through up and down and ebb and flow. And I talk about the analogy of the roller coaster. After my first psychedelic experience, I talked about this, about how sometimes our friends are doing really well in life. They're at a high on the roller coaster. They have everything, seems like everything's going right for them. They're in a relationship. They got a good job. Everything's going great. And you might not be there. You might be on the bottom end of that spectrum. what a good friend would do is they would come down and meet you halfway and not be so arrogant, showboating, like, oh, look at me, I'm the best. And what a good friend would do on the bottom end was come up a little bit and not be like, oh, I'm always so sad and woe is me. And that's where you like try to plane out. And I think that we're doing that. We're all on a bunch of roller coasters. So you're down here and somebody else is down here and you meet, it's a collision, as opposed to where if you're down here and somebody's up here and you meet, they can pick you up a little. It evens out, and you're actually bringing them down. That's a trade off. It's like they have to like come down and meet you a little bit. And sometimes you might be doing so good with somebody that you meet in your life or a friend, and you guys are both riding the high. You're like, oh, this is so great, and I think that's really cool because maybe it's good, maybe it's not. We don't know. Like we're all living our own lives. All you can do is just try to adjust a little bit to people as much as you can. Like as much as you can bend and flex, because there's certain people you have to get off the roller coaster with. Oh, no doubt. I think therefore I am. That's why I said that before I mentioned that, because life is only as good or as bad as you think it is. It's really why the thief of comparison is not joy, is envy. Having that, oh, they have this something I don't have. That's crazy. I think we could easily do that just as well. The people who don't have what we have, we could be like, oh, they don't have what we have. I think that's a beautiful life living experience to not have what I have. So that's all perspective, man. That's all I'm trying to say.
So we've been going for about an hour and 16 minutes. Should we start wrapping it up?
I think we should wrap it up. You want to go ahead and throw up the Thanksgiving post for us, you freaking turkeys? Thank you guys so much. Really, honestly, from the bottom of our heart, man. We can't say it enough. We're gonna be a broken record and throw it at you about every show 3 times of the show. We appreciate you guys' support. We're pretty humble, and it's not us here preaching at you. We're here with you, talking with you. So we want you guys to be part of our group. This is why the lives are super important to us. And we thank you guys. Yeah,
So
definitely.
we want this show to be interactive. So whenever you have questions about anything, I'm a mushroom expert. HB is the natural medicine guy. Derek's the Jesus freak. So just ask us questions. We're here for the community.
Yeah, definitely.
We're here to give. So just if you ever need anything, just reach out.
And thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week for the next episode of the Way Back Wednesday. And we thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night, okay? And happy Thanksgiving.
See you all next Wednesday,
Bye.
7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Take care.